Hello. I am sure at some point or another you've heard the term learning standards. Sometimes people refer to them as just standards. I'm here to help you have a better understanding of what those are and where to find them. Learning standards are learning goals for what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. Common Core standards are a body of standards in English Language Arts, or ELA, and math that were developed with the hope that all the states would adopt these for their academic standards, so that all students in the United States have access to similar knowledge and skills. Currently, 41 states have adopted the Common Core standards, including the state of Ohio. With that being said, if you look at the Ohio learning standards for ELA and math, they should be very similar to the Common Core standards. So where and how do you find these standards? If you would like to find the Common Core standards, simply search for Common Core standards. The website looks like this. You can view the ELA standards by clicking here. So you're going to click on the kindergarten grade 12 standards, and you can see the different domains within those standards. So I'm just going to choose literature, and then I can choose my grade level. And within that, I'm going to choose grade 4, and within that, all your standards are right here. You can access them by clicking this and seeing the standard, or you can go back and scroll through all the standards for that domain. If you want to go back to, let's see, informational text, you click there, go to your grade levels, and there's those standards here. So the standard, if you're doing a lesson on informational text and key ideas, there's 3 standards under there, and you would choose one of those 3 standards for your lesson. To access the mathematics standards, you do the same thing. You're going to choose your grade level for math. I'm going to choose grade 2 now, and you're going to choose your domain within there. And so let's just say I'm doing operations and algebraic thinking. I'm going to click there, and there are your 4 standards for that. So the Common Core standards are pretty straightforward as far as how you find them, and just reading the standards, that's all. If I click on the link, it just shows only that standard. So then the Ohio Learning Standards can be found by searching the Ohio Learning Standards. So I'm going to click on this. I just Googled Ohio Learning Standards. I'm going to click on the first one, and it should look something like this. The Ohio Learning Standards can be found on the Ohio Department of Education website, and here you will find the Ohio Learning Standards for ELA, math, social studies, science, as well as other content areas. There are several ways to access these standards. You can either click on the subject matter, like math, mathematics, and view the entire scope and sequence of the standards from kindergarten through 12th grade. So you can click here. If you open that up, it will have all the standards for all the grades. So in order to find what you need, you would have to know what grade level you are looking for. So let's just say I'm doing 6th grade this time. So I'm going to go to page 39 of the 6th grade to find 6th grade. And if I click on page 39, that's going to give you an overview of the domains. And if you continue to go through, here's the overview with a very simplified version of what the standards involved. And then if you go to each page, that will show you the strands. So we have understand the ratio concepts and use ratio reasoning to solve problems. And here are the individual standards that go under that strand. Also, you keep scrolling down. And so you have to have some idea of what the content or the domain the strand is, and then you look through it and see which of those is going to be appropriate for the lesson that you're planning. You can also access the math by grade levels if you scroll down. So let's say I was teaching 6th grade. It goes straight, this only contains grade 6. So it's a little easier to manage, just less pages, but the same type of format with an overview page and then the individual. This actually shows you how to read the grade level, so the domain, and then they're calling this the standard, but then it's clustered together. So you can keep scrolling through. There's the overview page of that domain, and then here's the standards with the clusters. So the same thing is true of the language arts. So if I go back to where I started at the beginning, I can either go to the English language arts. So we're going to go here, and again, you look, this is by domain. And so now then within that domain, you need to find the grade level. So let's say we're still working on informational text. It starts on page 21. But let's say I'm teaching 6th grade. Then you can see that this is kindergarten. This whole column will be kindergarten for the next couple pages. Then grade 1, grade 2. And so you keep scrolling through this. Now we're up to grade 3, 4, and 5. And I said I was looking for grade 6, so I keep scrolling here until I see grade 6. So then here are the English language arts for grade 6, key ideas and details, craft and structure, integration of knowledge and ideas, range of reading and level text complexity. So those are all the English language arts standards for 6th grade. So when you're accessing the Ohio Learning Standards, it sometimes can be confusing because there's different formats. So if I went over here to Quick Links, I could click on the Ohio Learning Standards, and then we have our choice of English language arts, or we can go scroll down, and it just looks a little bit different for English language arts. And then you sort of have to hunt around for what you're looking for. Again, you can either go to the grade level or the standards by content area. The science and social studies content areas are down here. Same type of thing. You click on those, find the grade level that you're looking for. So I hope this has been helpful, and now you have a little bit more familiarity with the Ohio Learning Standards. I did want to point out one last thing as far as the learning standard. There's something called extended standards, and I'm going to just click on that. And what that is if you have students with disabilities who are on alternate assessment, and they have to meet a very specific criteria in order to be on alternate assessment. So you're not going to use these standards for anybody. You want to make sure that student has qualified for alternate assessment. But there are called extended learning standards. And these are the standards you would use for students with more severe disabilities. And they're structured in very similar ways, but you have to find the grade level for the student and then find out what the extended. And these are just a little bit different in rigor as far as what the student will be responsible for learning. You want to keep in mind that all students are expected to be taught the Ohio Learning Standards. The only time you're going to use the extended learning standards is if the student qualifies for alternate assessment. And that's a whole nother topic that you'll become familiar with at some point in your career. Thanks for listening. I hope this has been helpful.